Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome back to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where tonight my friends and I will be playing a Delta Green RPG. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. The scenario is Music from a Darkened Room. It was written by Dennis Detweiler, and it's available from Drive-Thru RPG and Art Dream Publishing. I'm the game master for this scenario, and this is episode 2. Our recap will be given by Mark Anthony as his agent, Jockey. So, without any further delays, let's continue our journey into the darkness. Mark.
Field update, correspondence reference, Operation Iago, origin, Agent Jockey. Date of sleeper activation, May 1st, 2005, 0800 hours. Date of correspondence, May 3rd, 2005, 1400 hours. Opera rendezvous, Days Inn, West Chiller Avenue, room 45B, 2000 hours. Field log. I, Agents East, Lake, Fox, and Hades have successfully rendezvoused at the Days Inn, room 45B at approximately 2000 hours, where we subsequently obtained operative briefing. To confirm, one FedEx package containing the following: one cell phone, one local newspaper clipping, and one folded note with primary objectives. We have begun investigation into the suicide of FBI/Delta Green Agent Garrett, also known as Arthur Donnelly, whose body was recovered from 1206 Spooner Avenue, Meadowbrook, Illinois. Recorded last date of Delta Green Agent contact 2003. A cell directive suspects that the Spooner house may have exhibited some influence over Agent Garrett, even though he was a highly experienced Delta Green agent, and caution should therefore be practiced. Records indicate that the house was previously brought to the attention of ACEL, but was subsequently classified as statistically insignificant. Our three main objectives are as follows: determine the circumstances surrounding the death of Agent Garrett, determine if the Spooner house represents any threat to the public. Once the first two protocols are complete, contact ACEL for further instruction. The following morning, May the 2nd, 2005, Agent Lake and I agreed to begin at the Meadowbrook store while Hades worked on forging some FBI and Treasury Department identification. East and Fox began research into the house via the country records. We speculated that if ACEL's suspicions are correct about the agent operating outside of protocol, there may be indication as to what led to his demise buried within the contents of the inactive green box. Alas, with little more to go on than his name and a few aliases, our attempt proved fruitless. Agent East and Fox, however, were much more successful in their endeavor. With assistance from one of the clerks, they managed to uncover a grisly history hidden behind the paint-chipped walls of the curious abode. As it turns out, since 1956, there have been almost 20 deaths, 8 of which suicides, 1 a murder-suicide, 6 accidents, and the remaining as fires or gas leaks. To put that in perspective, the average remaining life expectancy for new owners of this domicile is only slightly over 2.5 years. It seems those desolate doorways may conceal something ever more malign than dust-clutched cobwebs or the silent marching of a few roaches. We adjourn later that evening, with the exception of Fox and Hades, who go for a spot of supper and the intention of uncovering any town gossip surrounding Spooner House and the demise of Agent Garrett. A common theme surfaces. Like many, if not all neighborhoods, this one also has a supposedly haunted house, Spooner House. Fox and Hades report that townsfolk are more than aware of the deaths of former owners. One couple in particular state, "That's the haunted house of the neighborhood. It's a house nobody wants to go near. People that live in that house die. It's a bad house. It's always been a bad house." The following morning, with Hades making short work of the identification, he, East, and I ventured to speak to the neighbours while Fox and Lake headed towards the police station to follow up on the incident. One resident, an elderly woman, appeared apprehensive when asked about her experience of 1206 Spooner Avenue. She stated the house was bad karma. Another elderly gentleman also appears to have his reservations. Having been a resident of Spooner Avenue since '56, he remarked, "Sometimes people are nice when they move in, but they ain't so nice later on. They go into that house and seem to lose themselves." Conclusively, and unfortunately, We finished our questioning and received answers more of the same. The house is haunted. The house is cursed. There's bad karma with that house, what have you. But brandishing our newly forward identification, we assumed a more hands-on strategy. East approached the 1206 confidently for a closer inspection, but as Hades and I joined, we were unable to follow through on our attempt in lockpicking the front door. Something about that house is off for sure. It looks just like any other house on the street, despite the neglected front and back garden. Whether it's the newfound knowledge of all the deaths unaccounted for behind its doors, the prospect of the stereotypical haunted house, or just the fact that the unexplained occurs every day, just out of sight mostly, but there and real nonetheless. I can't pinpoint a single reason for the other feeling it gives me. I don't know about how the others feel, but the dread emitted by that place is palpable. Like an insidious conglomerate of splintered wood, horrors imprisoned by apertures unseen, locked thresholds and shadows concealing tales of its occupants in their short time lived, and what they felt, heard, sensed, saw. It stands before us, staring, beckoning. You may mistake my anxieties as superstition and my account hyperbolic, but my wariness was hardened by 3 singular words I spied in the periphery of my vision, scrawled in the wall to the right of the threshold. Hell is me. I thought of the damp accumulated and trapped between the exoskeleton after one too many rainfalls upon rot-eaten wood, amateur carpentry, or perhaps just a leaky roof. But rain is not red.
All right. So we have some of you going to the police, some of you in front of the house. I'll give you guys a choice. Which one would you like to do first? House or police?
Well, I mean, with the house, we're just gonna snap a picture of this Hell is Me thing and probably go look at some obituaries now. Follow up on the what exactly killed the previous owners. I mean, it was suicide, but in what manner, where in the house? Anything that we can find. So,
all right.
The newspapers.
So that's easy enough. You snap pictures of the odd discoloration that says "Hell is me," and so we'll do the other people. You're heading. Who's heading to the police again?
I am with Lake.
So Agent Lake and Agent Fox.
Correct.
You get to the Meadowbrook police station. And I mean, it's not particularly busy, but it's what you'd expect. You know, Meadowbrook is actually a fairly decent sized, what do you call it? Like a suburb of the Chicago area.
Okay.
So you walk, you're going to go in?
I'll walk straight up to like the front desk and
walk in, there's a front desk. Yeah.
Yep. I'll basically just hi, I'm supervisory special agent Aaron Gideon, and this is special agent Jessica Bones, and we're with the FBI. We were hoping to speak to your chief or maybe a lead detective on the death of Agent Arthur Donnelly.
Chief Michael Buffington. Why don't you have a seat there, and I'll go get him.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So he goes away, and after a few minutes, he asks you to come with him, and he'll take you to the chief's office. Okay. The chief is a white fellow. He's about 6'2" high, clean cut, well dressed, medium build. Looks like he's maybe in his mid-30s, somewhere along the lines. And he stands up when you walk in. He says, "Gentlemen, please come in. To what do I owe this honor of the FBI?"
Hi, Chief Buffington. Yeah,
Buffington.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yes. We're here basically to get a bit more information on the death of FBI agent Arthur Donnelly. Mainly, we
yes,
were hoping
yes.
we could see his
Right.
records, anything you have on it. It's really just to tie up loose ends on
Well, if you don't
end.
mind, can I see your
Oh,
credentials?
yeah, there you go. Oh,
All right.
You know,
So he takes a look at them. Okay.
yeah, and then, you know, she
That's
pulls out hers as well and says, yes, and we understand what, you know, this is of course your case. We don't want to step on your toes here. We just want to evaluate what's going on here as you know, as
No,
a
no
standard
problem. No problem.
procedure.
I mean, you guys are FBI. You know that. I mean, FBI investigating FBI. That's not.
Of course.
yeah.
So, I mean, what do you already know? You know that he committed suicide.
Yes, that's
Well,
pretty much it.
just let
from our end.
me pull the record. Pulls the record, and he says, "I myself was there afterwards. Damnedest thing I'd ever seen. Um, Elmer Perkins, the coroner, he says that the death was fairly quick. Agent Donnelly had cut his own throat with a straight razor. Quite honestly, it looked like a bomb filled with blood had gone off in the room. There was blood everywhere. Master bedroom, just lying there on the floor, and carpet was obviously stained. We had a cleanup crew go in and see what they could do to clean up some of it, but some of those stains just don't come out. We don't know what his motivation was or anything like that. We got alerted by his wife that he was missing. She said that he had been acting very strangely over the last few months. They had a divorce. She said he was probably depressed, although her impression of him wasn't that he was depressed, that he was kind of manic.
Okay.
She also didn't know about the house.
Oh. Could we get? Do you have the latest details on his wife at all?
Well, I can give you his wife's address and everything.
Yeah.
She's actually local. She lives across town.
Okay.
Has two daughters. They're both in college. I think they're in La Jolla. I'm getting the name wrong.
Okay.
They are in Loyola. That's how it's pronounced, Loyola University. She was quite surprised to find out that he had committed suicide, but there was no evidence at all of anybody else being in the room. Well, that's not exactly true.
Okay.
I don't know exactly how to explain this, but
well, we're all ears. We're ears.
well, first of all, the house is peculiar. I had a strange feeling when I was there. The house, it looks completely normal, and there were things there from the previous owners that were still there, boxes of things. That the previous owner before Donnelly had also committed suicide.
Yes, we have a record that there was quite a few deaths in that house. We did get a record on that.
Well, I'm not completely familiar with the past. We've got one coroner, as I mentioned, Elmer Perkins. He's in his 50s. He's pretty much identified most. That's his job, of bodies and things that come through here. So he may be more familiar with the details of some of the previous things than I am. I'd never heard of Spooner House until just this recent. Anyway, so the master bedroom is, as I say, it was like a bomb went off of blood. The man splattered blood everywhere, on the floor, on the walls, even some on the ceiling. But there was a particular spot, it seemed to me when I was looking at it, that there wasn't any blood. And I'd like to say, it's pure speculation. I'd like to say it seemed like somebody had been standing there.
Ah,
But there was no evidence of any footprints or
that is
the only blood was in the room.
that is strange.
And this person would have been completely covered in blood if they had been standing there.
Okay. Yeah. That is very odd. You wouldn't mind at all if we checked out the property?
No, I assume that's something you would. I think that we might have the keys.
That'd be
Let
wonderful.
me check. And he checks with his secretary, and they're probably like in the evidence locker, the impound locker, or something like that.
Yeah.
She'll bring us the keys.
Yeah. Thank you. Could we also, if possible, like get the contact details for Elmer, your coroner? That's
Oh,
okay?
the coroner. Yeah, well, he's at the county morgue, obviously.
Yeah, that's all right.
Um,
Yeah, it's just
Elmer Perkins.
It's just so we can fact check a few things and correlate with what we know on top of what you all know here. It's really just formal federal bureaucracy.
Of course. And his wife, Alice Donnelly, formerly Clark is her last name. I'll give you her address as well. So, if you don't mind me asking, I'm kind of curious. We are, in the same profession.
Yeah.
Do you think that was anything other than suicide?
Well, it's ruled as suicide, but if it was anything more, maybe it'd be worth looking into. But speculation is like your speculation. It could be true. There are many members of our bureau who have solved cases on pure speculation alone.
It's probably more interesting to find out what motivated them or what drove them to it. There was no evidence of breaking or entering into the house.
Okay.
And like I say, there didn't seem to be any evidence that anybody else was there, except, like I say, and I could be wrong. It could just be the way his blood splattered.
Yeah,
that it seemed that way, but it sure seemed like that.
Well, one of the things is you gotta go your judgment. You gotta go with what you see, and if you think there was something odd about that, maybe there's something odd about that, and maybe it's something we can somehow look into. I doubt it, but just on our brief investigation, just to close up it on our end,
it's probably nothing, but
yeah,
was quite odd.
Well, anything we find that may be useful for you guys, we will let you know. I'll be sure to let you know personally, Chief.
All right. Well, you know where I am.
Yeah. Is it all right if we get the case files? Just we can stay here and read through them.
No, I mean we can make you a copy of the case file.
Yeah, that's all right. Thank you.
Thank you.
So he has a secretary do all of that.
Okay.
You get the keys in hand.
Thank you.
Nice work, Fox.
And then I guess I assume you leave.
Yes.
Yeah, and then Bones, what did you think about all that?
Well, it was interesting. He was very specific about the amount of blood. I think we should definitely look into that and see if it was perhaps an unnatural amount of blood for the circumstances. And yes, I definitely think we should follow up with the wife, the ex-wife.
And
the coroner. It's a good idea.
Yeah, there's a lot of avenues to go here. And that's the thing. from a psychological perspective, like if the chief said he saw something that was a little bit out of place. Maybe there was something out of place. Maybe it was a bit of a trick of his mind, but it's worth, as you said, looking into it. It could be nothing, like the chief thinks it is, but if it gets us one step closer to what answers that we need, then it's worth checking.
Agreed.
So are you going to go back and meet the others
Yeah.
back
Yeah.
at your headquarters?
Mhm.
All right. So we'll say that you both arrive back at the headquarters, within 20 minutes of each other. And
Well, I see the two of you managed to not get arrested.
Yes, indeed, and we got the case file. Fox was very good in there. So,
Well, Fox
Yeah.
did the talking.
yes, and
Yeah.
he did most of the talking actually.
I thought that was your specialty, Lake.
I mean, it is, but I mean, he had it sound like he had it covered. So it sounded like he was right in his element here. So I didn't want to step on his toes.
Oh,
Well, we found something off-putting at the house. Jockey, do you want to show him the photos?
Yeah, I'll quickly flash them the Polaroid showing the 3 hell is me.
Yikes.
We interviewed a couple of the neighbors, but it's pretty much more of the same. One fella seems to believe that the people that go into the house are different from a couple of weeks in the house.
it is odd.
What about yourselves? What did you find?
Bones. Well, I could call you Lake.
Yeah, either one. No,
I call you
well,
Lake.
a number of strange things. That he, like I said, he was very particular about. There was so much blood, like a bomb of blood went off because Donnelly cut his neck with a straight razor. And he says that there was a spot with no blood. He speculates that it was a person, but there's no footprints and nothing to back that up. So that doesn't really make sense, but it's worth checking out. Apparently he was divorced. His 2 daughters are in college. I think his wife described him as depressed but not manic, I believe. Was that right, Fox? Or
Yeah.
right.
And
Yeah,
we have her address.
Mhm.
the other way around.
His wife or his ex-wife?
Ex-wife. now.
Ex-wife.
And they were divorced before he... Okay. So
Yeah.
how long have they been separated? Did they tell you?
No, I don't think we.
No, I don't think he told us. No.
Do we know
Yeah,
this
I
already?
can say that the cop would have probably told you that they. Let me look up here.
Oh, hold on. Their marriage fell apart earlier this year. They were married for 25 years.
Legally divorced on May 23rd,
Okay, that's
Uh,
rather
two-
recent.
2004. Sorry, last year.
Okay,
Oh,
last
last
year. Okay.
year. Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
We have her address if any of us wanted to,
Mhm.
pursue
So
that.
they got divorced last year. It was after the divorce that he bought the house. Did he have any other property? Was he staying anywhere else? Or was it just a house? Is that where he's been staying?
Going by what we know, just a house by the looks of it.
Well, I was going to go look at some obituaries in newspapers, try to ascertain what happened to the previous owners of this house, exactly if they were killed in a similar manner, killed themselves in a similar manner, or any other commonality, a certain room that it happens in, anything that we can gain. But I would also like, if I take one of you to go do that with me, if the other 2 want to go, try to track down if Mr. Donnelly had any other place where he might have stayed aside from the house.
Yeah. Well, if I come with you east and then Joffrey and Lake go to
Oh, this really is 2 stars for a reason, eh?
Yeah.
Dog somewhere in here.
It's in the apartment next door.
So group of 2 and 3 then. Who's with East? It's Fox with East. And you're going to look at the obituaries. Lake and Hades. Shall we maybe go and follow up on potential previous places he would have stayed, or do you want to go in, maybe interview his ex-partner?
Yeah, I'm definitely interested in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you two want to do that, we'll just have Hades stay here for the time being.
Right.
Okay.
He'll coordinate.
Yeah. Touching up some of the documents.
Keeping everybody off our trail.
Okay, so if I understand, Agent Jockey and Agent Lake are going to go talk to the ex-wife, and Agent East and Agent Fox are going to go to the newspaper, did you say?
Yes, we're going to go to a public library or anywhere where we can find backlogs of newspapers.
Okay, you're going to go looking for newspapers.
Okay. Lake and Jockey. There's a time gap between when they got divorced and when he bought the house. You said that the officers said that the ex-wife wasn't aware of the house, so ask her where she thinks that he's been staying this whole time, and maybe we can go there as well and see what's what.
What are you thinking? Sounds good.
All right. Well, let's do the ex-wife first. Okay. It's now about, I don't know where we started. It was probably morning when we started. So we'll say it's about 11 o'clock in the morning. You drive across town. It's all of the houses are little bungalows and things like that. So it's another bungalow. You drive up and you can see there's a car in the driveway. And you get out and you walk up the path and ring the doorbell. And you can hear steps inside on a wooden floor. And the door opens and it's a woman. She looks like she's maybe in her mid-40s, around the same age as Donnelly would have been. And she says, yes, may I help you?
After you, Lake.
Yes. Sorry to bother you, ma'am. We're with the FBI. We're investigating. Unfortunately, your ex-husband has passed away.
Well, I mean, I've already answered questions of the police.
I understand. Unfortunately, the FBI is we're conducting our own investigation. Do you mind if we just talked with you briefly? Just a couple questions that me and my associate here have for you.
Sure. Do you want to come inside?
Yes, thank you so much. We'd love to.
I was just making some coffee. Would you like some coffee, gentlemen?
That sounds great, Miss Clark. Thank you very much.
I'm fine, thank you, she says.
She says, how did you know that my maiden name was Clark? Oh, you're FBI. Of course you know. You probably know more about me than I know about me. Here we go. Here's some coffee. I put some cookies there on the thing too. I don't know what to tell you. My husband was not really what I would call a depressed man. He seemed more like he was afraid for me. He was, I mean, I loved my husband. We were, married for quite a long time. And over the years, I mean, I could always tell that there was something eating at him, especially with his FBI work. And he never really discussed any of that with me. I figured, this was a safe haven for him and that he came home and he didn't want to think about it. But it ate at him. It ate at him little by little, and he became a little more belligerent, a little more terse with me, and then he wanted a divorce. We were separated, and then he finalized the divorce, and after that I kind of lost touch with him. He would we'd have lunch once in a while, but it wasn't very comfortable. We were supposed to have lunch the day that I called the police because he just didn't show up. And then they found his car 3 days later. That's what I told the police. What?
So sorry to hear that.
Do you think there was something more to it than? I wouldn't say he was upset because of the divorce, because he wanted the divorce.
Okay. Is there anything else that you think he might have been upset over?
I think that whatever he was working on upset him. I think that he tried very hard to hide it from me, but a wife knows.
Right. And so you think that that got to grow so large that it got to be it turn into this?
It never bothered him that much before. I just don't know. I don't have any explanation for why he would kill himself.
Do you have any other inkling as to what this, let's say, side project might have been?
Oh no, he would never. He told me working for the FBI, well, you yourself should know. You don't, there's a lot of things you just don't discuss.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
Even when, before, he would disappear for a week. He told me it would happen sometimes. We were separated in November of 2003. So it's been a while.
It's obviously fair to say that whenever you separated, he moved out of the house. Do you have any?
Not at first, but eventually, yeah, he did move out of the house. I don't know where he was staying.
Okay.
I assume it was locally somewhere.
If you had to hazard a guess, would you say like a motel, friend's house?
Probably
anywhere.
I was shocked to find out that he had purchased the house. So maybe he was staying there. I don't know when he purchased it.
Agent Lake, is there anything else you'd like to ask?
I mean, is there anything that you can think of that might have caused somebody else to? I mean, is there anything that he would get so angry about that it would drive him to do crazy things, or anybody that could drive him that really just set a spark in him?
Well, a number of years ago, I mean, he was excited about his work. He told me once that in the police or the FBI investigation, that sometimes there were things that were really surprising and interesting. And then after a while, it was almost as if his original excitement had turned to deep concern that there were things out there that were dangerous. And I remember at least one time him coming home, and it was almost as if he had been passed over for a promotion, or that he didn't say what it was, but he was angry because the higher ups weren't listening to it, whatever that means. And it deteriorated from there. He wasn't I don't think that he was happy in his job. Maybe he was, but he was certainly preoccupied by it a great deal. And I think that the pressure just got too much for him. I think maybe he just couldn't handle having a relationship and juggling his work. So maybe it was better, he felt, that he leave. I don't know. I don't know what his motivations. You need a psychologist to figure all that out, I imagine. But he's dead, so.
Well,
I'm sorry to yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Vic.
No, you go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say, sorry to get into all the nitty gritty during this strange, difficult time. Getting back to the dates, do you know the exact day he moved out of the property?
I'd say it was right after Thanksgiving. He spent Thanksgiving with us, and then he moved out. I was kind of half hoping that maybe we could fix things, but so the end of November, 2003.
All right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us. Is there anything else you can think of that would help our investigation? She asks.
I'm trying to think. I remember something. I'm not really a Snoopy wife. I would never, ever have thought that he was cheating on me. There was no indication that he would cheat on me. But I found a notepad on his desk, and he'd written something on it. You know how when you push down, it leaves an impression on the note underneath? And I could see it was a woman's name, Yamila. I don't know who Yamila was. He never said anything about a woman named Yamila. I thought it might have to do with something he was working on. But that's all I can think of. He was a good man.
Yes, it sounds like it. Well, as I said, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Well, I hope it helps.
Jockey, anything else?
No, that's everything. Again, thanks for accommodating us. Thank you for the coffee. It was lovely. And thanks for your cooperation.
Of course. And she sees you out. And you leave. Let's see. Agent East and Agent Fox. You go looking for newspaper articles. You've got a list of names, and go ahead.
Okay, well, we'll start looking for Yamila Isari, the prior owner to Donnelly.
You let's see if I can. You find only obituaries. Miss Yamila Isari passed away. It gives the date. Let's see. February 12, 2004. It doesn't say how or suicide or anything like that. It does say that she was a recent immigrant to the United States from the United Arab Emirates, and that she was a collector of antiques. The town had kind of will greatly miss her because she bought a lot of antiques from their shops. So they all she turned into kind of royalty in the town. But other than that, it doesn't really say anything.
All right, moving on. Andrea Falcone.
Andrea Falcone. This was January 2002, January 12th, 2002. That she died inside of her home. Once again, it doesn't say how, but it also doesn't say anything about. It says where the funeral will be held. Nothing more. Next.
Braintree.
Okay, Amanda Braintree. You're going to have to do a luck roll on this. We're going back a ways.
All right. Dun, 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 dun. Nope.
All right, you can't find anything on Amanda Braintree.
Can I find anything on Amanda Braintree?
Did you? I actually, it's only fair to have one roll. You guys are looking together,
Okay, yeah,
right?
that's fine.
So,
Yeah.
you can do the roll for. Are you going to keep going back?
Well, I guess we would
Yeah,
keep
Fox.
trying to.
See if you can find anything on Lewis Tycroft.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, Jesus Christ. 95 is a no, I cannot find anything.
Yeah. You find it more and more difficult to locate information as you go back.
This is turning out to be quite difficult, East.
Why don't you do one last? Whoever's got the best luck.
We have the same luck.
We have the same.
Okay. We'll say after a few hours. Go ahead and do another luck roll.
You can do it.
No, I can't. Actually, I can't do it, Josh.
So finding it in these newspapers is not proving to be very well. There's just too much to go through, and a lot of the newspapers are missing. They're probably on microfiche.
Ah, man.
Not the fish. It's so hard to look through the fish. Okay.
However, I'll give you this. In at least 3 of the things that you find, you do mention, it does mention Coroner Elmer Perkins. So he's been here for a long time.
So if we noticed that, I'll be like, well, he's actually someone we wanted to speak to because.
Oh, well, let's go.
Yeah, so that might be. He might be able to fill in some gaps or whatever.
And apparently, I'll just let you do the talking. Seem to have an knack for it.
Wow, yeah. That's a story for another day. Possibly never.
All right. So you're going to head there?
I guess so.
All right. You drive across town, you come to the county coroner's office. It's a sort of a low beige colored building. It looks like it's fairly new. Maybe no more than 10 years old, the building itself. There's a few cars in the parking lot, and you go inside. There's a receptionist. Can I help you?
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Hello.
Oh, yeah. I would briefly. No. Hi. I am supervisory special agent Aaron Gideon, and Morgan. What alias are you using?
I'm Special Agent Gregory Hale.
All right.
Well, what can I do for you, gentlemen?
We're here to speak to Coroner Elmer Perkins.
Mr. Perkins, Doctor. I guess Doctor. Mr. Perkins, do you have an appointment?
We do not. No.
All right. Let me check and see if he's free at the moment.
Okay.
And he goes through a door. You can hear him go down a hall, and you hear him say, Elmer, you've got some FBI people here. And he's like, oh, Jesus. He's like, I just started my sandwich. You like, tell them to come back later. She says, they look pretty efficient. So, all right. Send him back. So he comes back and says, he'll see you right now. And he says that room down there at the end of the hall. As you go in, you can sort of smell, you're in a morgue. There's chemical smell.
Straight away, when I see Elmer, I'm going to profile him straight away in my head. So just his mannerism, how he is, just.
You can, as you go do a spot hidden as you walk. You can both do a spot hidden as well.
So an alertness, I guess.
Alertness. Sorry.
Yeah. Ooh, that's a 24. So, and on a 60. So.
All right. You step inside, and this little bit overweight gentleman in a white lab coat. He's standing up from behind his desk. You can smell that he was probably having a turkey sandwich. You can see a little bit of lettuce, caught on the edge of his mouth. You smell alcohol, like beer, in the room. Okay. And he's like, gentlemen, what can I do for the FBI?
Oh, yes. Actually, we're here to discuss. You did the autopsy on Agent Arthur Donnelly.
I do the autopsies on everyone. Yeah. You're talking about the agent that cut his throat.
Yeah. We were just wondering if we could get your view on the situation more.
You said you're FBI. Can I see your credentials?
Yes, you can.
Okay. So he looks at those. Looks good. I'm really not supposed to discuss previous cases. I mean, are you sure?
Well, I suppose you're not supposed to be drinking either, but
no.
It's just a little beer. Look. What do you want to know? He cut his throat. Used a straight razor.
Anything else on the body at all? Anything?
No, not really. Seems like a perfectly healthy adult male in his mid-40s. Had used his right hand, had sliced his neck across like this with a straight razor. We only know that because of the nature of the cut. Microscopically, it was most definitely a razor that had done something extremely sharp, not a knife or not some other ragged edged tool. We did not find the straight razor. However, we don't know if it was removed from the evidence or if it was picked up as evidence and it got lost in the shuffle. A person had bled out.
Do the cut marks indicate that it was in fact suicide?
Well, yes. In fact, we could tell from his hand was covered in blood. He most definitely did it himself.
Self-inflicted. Did you? I don't know if you were able to hear. Did you? Did it seem like he had taken anything? Was he on anything? Did you?
Oh, no drugs at all in his system. I think that his wife said that he didn't seem like a depressed fellow, though he had recently had a divorce the year before. Nothing seemed very odd about it, except I suppose the odd thing was that it was very similar to the suicide of the woman that had owned the house previous to him.
Yamila Izari?
That's
was it?
correct.
Yeah,
Yes,
that was
the Arab woman.
yeah, that was our second line of inquiry.
Well,
actually,
what
with
about
you.
it was the same manner of death, huh?
Uncannily, same room, straight razor across the neck, almost identical throat cut. Believe it or not, almost identical blood splatters. Really quite strange. It's
What are the
strange
odds of that,
coincidence.
do you think?
Yeah, that is a strange. It reminds me of a case, actually.
Copycat murder. I don't know if Mr. Donnelly knew her or not, but it was quite strange. The house has a reputation.
Bit of a reputation.
Yeah.
About
There's
that
been
reputation.
quite a few deaths in that
How long have you
house.
been coroner here?
Oh, since for about 50 years. I'm sorry. I started when I was 2 years old. I've been here since I've been here since 1984.
Well, there have been a number of deaths in the house since
Yes,
then. Are
quite
they
a
all
few.
the same?
Yes. Oh no. These were the only two where they cut their throats. Oh, geez,
Okay.
let's see. Before Yamila, there was a woman, Andrea Falcone. She climbed into a closet, as I recall, in the hallway, and she put a plastic bag over her head and suffocated herself.
So it was a suicide.
Oh, yeah, once again, well, yes, it was. Am I getting that right?
Because according to what we've found, it was listed as an accident.
Hold on just a second. I think
You jumped one.
Andrea
Was that Amanda
Falcone.
Braintree? Andrea Falcone was an accident.
Andrea Falcone. Let me look at this. I got a long list. So, it says that she suffocated. We don't know if she well, the thing is that there was no reason why she would have suffocated because she wasn't tied up. So I thought about it. It seemed like she could have easily. It's not the way people usually die. And then Miss Braintree, Amanda, she hung herself.
Okay. How did that see? Do you remember it much?
I think that as I recall, she hung herself from a light fixture in one of the rooms. Not exactly sure which one. Okay. And then there was Mr. Tycroft. He shot himself. That one was very, very strange. Extremely. He shot himself twice. And the first time that he shot himself, I would have believed that would have killed him. I don't understand how somebody could have possibly shot themselves twice. But all of the evidence pointed to that. He had the gun in his hand. The powder prints were on his skin.
But he shot himself twice.
And the first shot should have killed him. He shouldn't have been able to kill himself the second shot.
Is it? Well, I don't doubt it, but is it possible that this first shot wouldn't have killed him at all? Or was it too?
Obviously it didn't, but it doesn't make any sense.
Where was the first shot located?
Yeah.
Both shots were in his chest.
Okay. In his chest. That's an unusual.
like this.
So he would. That's an unusual angle to.
And was that gun recovered, or was it also lost? Like the
Well, I'm sure it was
razors?
put in. Yes, I'm sure that was put into evidence. We had the gun.
Also, is it possible, like, in my time that some people spasm after death, could it have shot himself a second time by spasming?
Something must have happened, but that's not the weirdest death.
Okay.
The first death that I investigated in that house was Mr. John Tyler. Mr. John Tyler died in the master bedroom. He was lying on the floor. No, I'm sorry. He was in the bathtub. The bathtub was completely dry, and Mr. John Tyler had drowned.
Wait, what?
His lungs were completely full of water.
So he drowned in an empty bathtub.
He drowned in a dry, empty bathtub.
No sign of any water being used within like an hour or so?
Nope.
That is unusual.
I deemed it a freak accident. Sometimes you get things that you just can't explain.
Yeah, this does.
Well, very curious. You've been most helpful.
Could just out of pure curiosity for me, this out of character, could I just basically psychology check on Elmer Perkins?
Sure.
It's more of a personal thing for my character than actually probably going to help the plot of this.
You want to play your character? What do you think this is? A role-playing game? Get out of here.
33. Yeah. That's human int, isn't it? On this.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's 33. that's a double. That's a
extreme
success.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a pass, yeah. I have 80 in human int, so.
But a 33 is doubles. That's an ultra pass.
Yeah.
That's the critical or whatever it's called, a Delta Green.
What the impression that you get from Elmer Perkin is that he's seen a lot of horrible deaths, obviously the coroner.
Which is why he drinks.
Which is also kind of that he is inured to that sort of thing. So you don't see any signs that it bothers him on any level. On the other hand, he seems actually kind of an affable fellow, and he certainly talks. He almost with, I wouldn't say with glee, but he's telling you the stories the way he perceives them, and you don't really get that he's embellishing the story at all. He seems genuinely disturbed by some of the results, but he doesn't bother thinking about that. He dealt with that years ago, and now he's moved on. But then you're bringing it back. But he's telling you almost, the way you'd be like,
yeah, very.
I saw a body, and this is what it was, because you're asking me when I'm a coroner.
Yeah. Okay.
So you don't get any dishonesty.
No, that's fine. And to be fair, what I get from him anyway is he probably drinks a little bit he's in a stressful job, so he probably just drinks to get it out of his system a bit, and yeah.
Or he just likes beer.
Or he likes to drink a little bit. Yeah, but that's not how Fox thinks. So
yeah, sometimes a cigar is just a cigar.
And sometimes people drink on their lunch break.
Yeah.
I've been in a lot of businesses that people drink on their lunch break.
No. It's very common.
Anything else?
No, I think that's it for us speaking to Perkins, I think. Unless East has any question.
No, other than just he's been most helpful. What are you drinking?
Just Sam Adams.
Sam Adams. Oh, well, Maybe when you get a chance, you should, I don't know, try something a little better than that.
Well, you
All
should
right,
go
let's
out. I can tell you some of the other stories of weird things that Elmer says to you, now, you know that statistically, you can find a house like this in just about every neighborhood. There are houses that every house, not every house, I guess, but a lot of houses have people commit suicide or die or drug overdoses or whatever. And occasionally you're going to get one with a few people that have done it. And so in a city like Chicago, I don't think that statistically this many deaths in this one house is that unusual. I mean, it's just somebody's got to have a house with that many deaths in it.
Yeah.
But there are some very strange.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting. Well, thank you so much for letting us disrupt your lunch hour. Enjoy your St. Adams.
Yeah, hopefully there won't be any more. I don't know when that house is going to go back on the market.
Well, I hope we can, if we need you for anything, we can call upon you. Yeah.
Of course. You guys have cards?
Yes, I will throw him a card.
We will call you if we need it.
Hey, I have one with Gideon on it.
Well, you probably have fake cards that have fake numbers on it, so that if they try to call them, they're not going to get you anyway.
Exactly.
This number has been disconnected.
A little dead tone.
It'd be best if we'll contact you.
Of course.
If we need you.
All right. And so you leave the coroner. Jockey, what were you guys doing?
We had just finished up the interview with Miss Clark.
That's right. Are we going to do anything after that, or are you all going to once again convene?
I don't think we said about anything after that. I think we're just going to rendezvous again, I guess. It's probably like late afternoon, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll probably get some, decent pizza this time.
Yeah, it's decent.
And not St. Adams for whatever reason. Just
pineapple.
You want Hawaiian, Fox?
Pineapple mushrooms. Pineapple mushrooms, ham, green peppers. That's what I'm having on my pizza.
Pineapple mushroom pizza.
Yes. Saying that
Fox,
myself,
you are a strange man.
No, I wouldn't eat that myself, but Fox would. So
why don't you take some time and discuss what you guys know so far?
Okay. Well, what did you find out at the coroner's office?
Well, the last resident before Donnelly, Yamila Izari, died in the exact same way that he did.
Oh wow, that's strange.
I mean, the coroner, he told us about John Tyler, who in 1988 apparently drowned in a dry bathtub, an empty bathtub.
Yep, he had water in his lungs. Yeah.
So something is definitely wrong. I just figure out how Donnelly found out about the house.
Yes, and how it's looking at, because one strange death, that's just a coincidence. Two, yeah, but several strange deaths in the same house.
Well, his thing about statistics is one thing, but I mean, how many houses in Chicago did a man drown in an empty bathtub?
Yes, and I'm not gonna the guy at the angle to point that gun at your chest. That's a pretty. It's not a difficult angle, but it'd be an uncomfortable angle, and you can't guarantee you'd die or hit anything. Well, you'd hit something vital, but man, it's
what happened
a
with
strange
the guy?
place.
And Andrea suffocated.
Why wouldn't you just, if you're gonna kill yourself with a gun, why wouldn't you just shoot yourself in the head?
Well, and the razors. I mean, the same blood spatter. I mean, it's like somebody murdered these people, but they were never there.
Yeah, it does remind me of a case. Anyone might have heard about it. The Ronald Hodgins case. He basically managed to get away with a lot of murder because he convinced a lot of people to commit suicide in various ways. It was a strange one. He had a very manipulative way to it, and he managed it. Only minor things like hangings and stuff, nothing this peculiar, but there are some sick people out there, so I wouldn't put it
What did you learn?
past.
Miss Clark didn't. We queried about the gap in between Agent Garrett buying the new property and separating from his partner and separating from his ex-wife and moving out of the house. She didn't have any inkling whatsoever as to where he might have moved in the meantime. One thing that's very unsettling, though, is she mentioned how she never had any concerns about him being unfaithful to her, but there was one time she spotted in a notepad the name Yamila.
Isn't
not the right one? Yamila?
Yamila was the previous owner of the house.
Yeah, and that's the previous owner of the house.
But the page was torn. The page was torn out, so it wasn't written down. She had just managed to, spot it from the indents on the subsequent page. She.
This wasn't on Delta Green's behest. He hasn't done any operation since 2003.
Yeah.
See, all of this is very odd, but there's got to be it's got to be connected in some way. It has to be this strange deaths. Why he did that house, him dying the exact same way as your Miller. It's all got to be connected. There's something in the chain that we are missing.
Yeah.
Well, and that message on the outside of the house.
Hell is me.
Yeah.
That wasn't paint. Was it?
Well, going by is it maybe someone referencing the house? Maybe.
Well, I mean, look at these. Look at these. It shares none of the weathering of the other paint on the house.
No.
Like I say, it looks like how that was painted over, and then it's come through from under the paint.
Previous.
This definitely seems like something like an anomaly.
Yeah.
Miss Clark
and it presents a danger, whatever it is. I mean, it's killed a number of individuals. It did not, however, do anything to the people that went into that house to retrieve the bodies. That's interesting.
Maybe there's some kind of motive to this, like a psychological need for this person to pick a solitary person and do that kind of harm to them. How they caused them to do this harm is another question. But
Fox, is this your first night at the opera?
Would it be our first nights at the opera?
Not necessarily.
No, I've been a couple of times.
Well, I'd have to say this would be the most. I don't know. I hope you're right that it is just some deranged individual, but I fear we're going to find something much worse in the house.
I suppose you are right, but for now, I would like to treat it as a deranged individual. And we will probably progress to more if we.
Well, I'd
if
like
and
to not
when
treat it as
we
anything. Until now, something that we don't know. Because if you're looking for, I don't know, some human activity, already in your mind, that's what you're looking for. It's something supernatural is going on. It may be too late for you.
Miss Clark also said about how her ex-husband, became more belligerent over time, and they had more and more arguments. She mentioned about how she felt he was trying to tell his superiors something, but it was going in one ear and coming out the other.
Okay.
Which I suppose his superiors at FBI, or maybe was he subtly talking about Delta Green? Was he
Possibly.
reporting something to ACEL and they weren't listening to him?
Potentially.
Well, obviously, Delta Green had smoothed the house off as nothing really up until now. So maybe he tried to, try to get them to look into it more. And
Perhaps he went to live in the house to draw more attention to it.
they
And
got
now
him
he's
killed.
dead. And I suppose ultimately he succeeded. I mean, now we're here.
Yeah, we are here. And the thing is,
where did he first learn about? He knew about the previous owner, and she
so
died the year that he bought the house. But
yeah,
and he wrote the note in 2003, but she died in 2004.
And
so he knew about Yamila before she died.
So it's safe
something tipped him off about the Spooner house.
Yeah, maybe. I assume he might have interviewed Yamila, spoke to her several times, tried to piece something together. I don't know. But something set him off. If he was acting differently to his ex-wife, something was eating at him, and well, clearly it's the house. If anything, whatever is going on at this house changed him and led him to his demise. But it is strange that he died the exact same way as Yamila, though. That is odd. Because every other death going by the coroner from what he spouted, they're all different except from these two. It is odd indeed.
Where do we go from here then?
Deep dive into the house. It's probably
Unless we can think of a way to discover exactly how Donnelly, what intrigued him so much about Spooner House. We don't know. And I suppose if he's been living there, any personal belongings or journals or things that would indicate that would be in that house as well.
Yeah, we don't have to spend a ludicrous amount of time there. We can just do a quick cursory glance, look for any of his belongings.
I mean,
anything of interest.
I was prepared earlier today to just go in there, but that message, there's something about those words that this whole situation is a little nervous about going in there now.
Do intelligence rolls.
And I know the message unsettled you as well. That's a 22 out of 8. What the hell is going on?
My 67.
Mine is just a regular pass.
Okay.
Yeah, the 22 is an old galaxy brain moment.
My big brain.
You've all assumed or guessed that there's something weird going on in that house. One of the numbers that was on your little cell phone was a psychologist, parapsychologist, that was listed as a friendly.
Okay.
Dr. ML Yarrow.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'll
Yeah,
get
again.
a call.
Yes. Look at this.
Good thinking there, Fox.
Yeah, it wouldn't be worth. It wouldn't be worth. It wouldn't be worth. It would be worth the thing to ring words. I can't word right now. You know what I'm trying to say.
Who do you think that we? Okay, it's the secret government agency. Okay. All right. I'll call him or her. Yarrow, Dr. Yarrow.
All right. So you dial a number, and the phone answers. This is Dr. Yarrow. How can I help you?
Dr. Yarrow, this is Marvin Taylor. I believe that you've worked with my my department of the government before.
Um, I'm sorry. Are you a student here?
No, I'm an agent. Delta Green.
Oh, an agent. Wow. It's been a while. Uh, do we need to meet somewhere? I didn't think you'd want to talk over the phone.
Meet me at such and such. This Denny's.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I like Denny's. Sure. Yeah. When? Now or I mean, it's like 5 o'clock. Dinner. 6
Yeah,
o'clock.
as soon as you can get here.
All right, after. Of course. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Right. He hangs up. Right. So you've got about an hour before you meet him at the Denny's.
I'll ask him what he knows about the house. What do you think about bringing him with us?
It'd be worth a chance. Maybe he can help shed some more light. We might as well. If he's willing anyway, and obviously we don't want to reveal too much, but he might be of value, and he might be able to actually help us. So.
And Dr. Yarrow, he's a parapsychologist. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what it says.
Okay.
All right. So you arrive at the Denny's, and you guys still look like federal agents, and you're sitting there, and right on time, you actually see a car pull up outside. You see a gentleman get out, and he has on a ridiculous black trench coat. This is May. It's not particularly cold outside. He has on a hat, and he's got it all pulled around him. And you see him, he comes to the door, he steps inside, he looks around, and he sees you, and he's like, this. And he walks over to where you are, and he says, Nobody followed me. I swear. He says,
Well, that's good. Take a seat.
Are you sure that it's safe for us to be here? Wow. What can I do for you?
Tell me, have you ever heard of the Spooner House?
No, should I have?
Well, not necessarily. We have an interesting situation that we think that your skill set will assist us with.
Which skill set? I I have a PhD in psychology, and I also study.
Both, and actually both.
Really? Excellent. Some deviant you want me to help find?
I'll pass it. I'll slide the newspaper clipping across the table.
Which one? Like Agent Donnelly's death? This is about a suicide. You guys are FBI also? CIA? Delta.
We are.
Science. I'm not supposed to say.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't have psychometry. Am I? Do you want me
and
to?
then I'll pass, and then I'll slide the other thing that shows like the record of all the deaths that have occurred back to back to back to back.
Oh my! And all at the same house. Oh my.
We believe that this particular property might be having some kind of a supernatural effect on these people. And we're going there tonight. We would like you to accompany us.
All right. I should tell you that I'm psychically sensitive.
Oh,
So,
that will be very helpful.
all right. Ooh, that's very exciting.
Oh, I'm so stupid. Okay. I'll be right back. I'm going to make another phone call
Okay.
to Elizabeth Tucker.
All right. You call the Tucker number, and all you get as an answering machine at this time of night for her office. But it gives you enough information to know that she is in acquisitions, that if you are looking for a particular item, that's been sold or on the market, she'd probably be able to find it.
Yes,
But she'll be back at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock in the morning tomorrow.
Okay, actually, okay. We're not going tonight, we're going tomorrow night. So meet us back here.
All right.
Same time.
All right. You don't want to just meet at the address here for the Spooner house?
Okay,
We
yeah,
can
we
meet
can
here.
meet it.
If it's safer to meet here.
Yeah.
You probably don't want me to. All right. Oh, I'm so excited. And he looks around, make sure nobody's looking. He's like, all right, let's see. Yes. And he goes back over to the door, and he opens up the door and steps outside. He sneaks back to his car and gets in.
This is why we met him at a Denny's. He doesn't look out of place at all. Another crazy customer. Anyway, the reason, gotta keep him on a close leash. The reason for postponing is I want to talk to Elizabeth Tucker, because Yamala Izari, was famous in the community for buying antiques. I'm curious if she's had any contact with our friendly.
Really good idea, actually.
That is a very good idea.
I wouldn't have thought of that.
I would not have either. Well, we've got another avenue to go down, which will lead back into our main. Yeah.
Well, tea and toast and sleep.
Tea?
Yeah.
Tea.
What are you, British?
Tea's nice.
Tea is nice.
Yeah, if you don't have
in the US.
tea and toast for supper, you're missing out, East. I'll make you some tea and toast. Don't worry.
We'll put some Marmite on it.
They don't have that here. We don't
That
even
is
know
bad.
what that is.
That's banned in Delta Green.
It's bad because Marmite's banned.
The
All right.
forbidden spread.
So we'll assume then that you go back and you maybe go over some of the stuff that you've had and discuss it and eventually go to bed. And I think that it's fair since John, his internet must have gone down because I haven't gotten a response from him on anything. Let's just call it there. It's early, but
Okay. I mean, do you want to have a conversation with the antique dealer, or you just want to wait?
let's wait on that.
Okay. Okay. Perfect.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's see. Our players included John Dos Passos, Aaron Denamer. He'll be back next week. Morgan Llewellyn, Mark Anthony, and Josh Harwood with myself as the Keeper of the Secrets. We have a Discord server where you can chat with our members. You can set up private games and learn the finer arts of gameplay and game mastering. There is a link below. We're currently producing up to 4 shows a week with music and sound effects added in post-production in order to create a richer listener experience. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. The cost of Bob with a Show are provided almost entirely by our patrons. Without them, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. If you'd like to help support our show, please visit our Patreon account. Just $1 or $2 a month helps us a lot. You can find a link in the description below. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows. And leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answering any questions you might have. This is Tom Rayleigh, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck, good game. Thank you.